Hi there, knife people, hello lady and gentlemen. Today is a happy day for me because not only do I get to do another video using my favorite sharpening tool, Worksharp Professional Precision Adjust, but I also get to answer questions from 4 or 5 subscribers. And let me point the camera at what's going on. Here on my bench, my sharpening and knife working bench, I have 3 Spyderco knives. The questions were specific to this type of the blade. I'm going to show you using Manix 2 lightweight as an example. This blade has a full flat grind. It's not just any flat grind. Full flat grind, meaning the primary bevel extends from the spine all the way to the secondary bevel that most people call the edge. All 3 of these knives, Manix 2, paramilitary 3, and clamping the device is the Manix 2 full-size knife. So I'm not going to actually do the sharpening, but I'm going to show you, first of all, what the concern is, and second, how to address it. The concern is that the jaws will not be able to fully clamp on the crisp and wide spine of the blade, leaving lots of play. I haven't finished setting this up, and indeed, the current present level of tightening of the jaw, there's plenty of play. So when you sharpen, even if you apply the lightest pressure, the blade will move and you will not get a completely flat secondary bevel. Step 1, and I mentioned it in the previous videos, you can't really attempt to tighten it like in this position. You can get it pretty tight, but it'll still have play. So what I'm doing here is I'm going to put it on a 45-degree angle. And I'm going to use both of my hands to tighten. See how much farther I can go in this position and using 2 hands. And now when I place it back, there's a lot less play. There is some play still, but there's a lot less. And when I apply working pressure, the knife doesn't flex or minimally flexes. I also published a video about this device that I constructed out of a very inexpensive magnet that I found at Harbor Freight. And this is 5/16 by 18 bolt and extended nut here. And you can use a regular nut. It's just a little more convenient and more ergonomic to use it. And I bring it under the blade and I extend it. Basically, I am unscrewing the nut, and at some point it'll be attracted to the blade. So you need to unscrew it enough where it sort of pushes down on that magnet, but does not raise the edge. And you can test it by pressing it down here on the bottom with your left. If you can hear that sound, that means you're not tight enough. So you go a little more. No sound. So right there, back in a little. Sound, just a hair. No sound. So if you had a longer blade, you would just use 2 of these devices. In fact, this is big enough where you can use 2 of them if you're so inclined. This one just has a regular nut. It's a very inexpensive solution. With one caveat. In this setup, I use consecutive sharpening media going from, let's say, 320 to 800 before I flip the blade on the other side. And here's why. You have to repeat the adjustments on these 2 bolts on the opposite side. And to do that, I just hold the magnets down, I push it up, rotate. Now, you have to move them out of the way because for some reason, and maybe it's unique to my device here, but the blade ends up at a slightly different height when I flip it. So there's some kind of tolerancing stuck-ups in the design. which for 250 bucks, it is clearly not airspace level of precision, not that they shouldn't expect that. So, here I am. As soon as I feel resistance, I stop and then I do the tap test. There's a little bit of movement if I press all the way down, but if I press here, and if you are concerned, that's why I have the second one. If you're concerned about that, just add this guy. Look how they line up. And now you have 2 points of contact, and don't forget to adjust it. All right, so now I'm going to do the next setup. And here I'm deliberating with myself of which Spyderco knife should I try next, because I want to show you the absolute worst case scenario or the most challenging of the setups. And I almost went with Para 2, but then settled on Para 3, and here's why. So actually I think Para 2 would be the worst case, because, let me explain here, because the initial thickness is about the same, but this one thins out at a lower rate, so to speak. This one goes, and this one goes. Scientific terminology right there. So I'm going to use this one because I think that would be the worst case. Do not try to run the spine parallel to the jaw on these knives. You know, it varies knife to knife, but on these knives, this is what I got. This is how it's set up. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get a good sweep here, from left to right and right to left. And so I'm going to tighten it with 2 hands as hard as I can. Test for play. There's very minor play. I'm going to screw that in a little. Okay. And now so these magnets are so strong that once you set it up and create just a tiny bit of pressure between the nut, the blade, and the magnet, it's not going to move out of the way too much. So right now I have 0 play again, and I'm ready to set up. Reminder. Sharpening does not require a lot of downward pressure, but if you're a bear or a silverback gorilla, you can add the second supporting device for a completely solid lockout. So here you go. Tap, tap. Hope you can see. There's no back and forth flex. You're ready to sharpen. Hopefully that helps. Let me know in the comments what you think. And as always, ask me questions, because your questions get me in the mode for the next video. Thanks for watching.